Support for today's episode comes from Dame Products, a sexual wellness brand with the goal of closing the pleasure gap. I personally love the versatility of all the products. And if it says it's a G-spot, don't worry. You can use it on your clit, your nipple. It's so many options. And as a Boonie Breakdown listener, you can receive 10% off your purchase by using the code Boonie10. That's Boonie, all caps, 10. Details on how to purchase can be found in the show notes and on thebooниebreakdown.com. Hey y'all, it's your girl Boonie, and you're listening to the Boonie Breakdown podcast, your source for all things responsible and ratchet. All right, we're back. That's right, we're back. All new episodes of season 12 of the Boonie Breakdown podcast start right fucking now and back every Monday while we're in season. Thank you so much for letting me take an extended hiatus, an extended pause, because I just needed to recharge, get my shit together. I just needed a break. And so thank you. Thank you so much for indulging me. I was about to push this back 2 more weeks, but I said, no, girl, just go ahead and do it. Because if you don't, you wasn't going to do it. So, kicking off season 12 after a long hiatus. I know you guys missed him. I missed him too. So this week's episode guest is none other than our problematic fave, Brian. So he is here. I don't even know if this is too outrageous, but we have a good conversation. I don't know why. He wanted to talk about prenups. So we talk about prenups. I asked him, are men really single? Are men ever really single? Because I feel like us women, we be single, but men don't be single. We talk about some of the live shows, and then we have a conversation about time versus money versus attraction. All right. So you want to stick around for that conversation. We're going to hop right into it. My pick of the week. I have not done one of these for weeks, months even, but I'm so excited. So my pick of the week is none other. Y'all might hate me for this. I don't know. Maybe not. Daemon Targaryen. If you are not watching House of Dragons, which I know that's not the name of the show, it's House of the Dragon, but House of Dragons just sounds so much better. So if you're not watching that show over on HBO, which is the Game of Thrones prequel, right? You're really missing out. Every fucking episode is just so fucking good. Like each episode tops the episode from the week before. And for me, the star of the show is none other than Daemon Targaryen. And it's interesting. The guy who is the actor, Matt Smith, a very common name. And I've seen him in a few things. He's in The Crown on Netflix. I've seen him in some other stuff. And he always plays like such a different character. But I feel like he's carrying this show. For me, he is my favorite character. I look forward to him. He be killing scenes. I think it was one episode where he didn't even say anything. He said no words the entire episode, but it was like so amazing. So shout out to Daemon Targaryen. That is it. I mean, the only really gross thing about the show is just like the level of incestuous relationships in this show. And I think it grosses me out even more the fact that they feel the need to show us how incestuous this shit is. Like, okay, he's the girl's uncle. I don't need to see them having a sex scene. I understand that they are together. They have forged. We can move forward. But no. They must show us a sex scene between uncle and niece, brother and sister. I think the incestuous relationships in this show far exceed anything that was in Game of Thrones. But again, it's so good. And I just want to know, like, the guy, George R.R. Martin, is that his name? Who wrote the books? Like, what is going on in that man's mind? Because when you think about the complexity and the level of detail this man has put into these characters and they have lineage. Like, he has whole full-fledged family charts. Like, it's family trees for multiple family. It's quite amazing. So go check it out if you haven't. But that is my Boonie warning. It is very incestuous, but it's good nonetheless. And Daemon Targaryen is the star of the show for me.
Housekeeping. Come back later, please. Housekeeping. Not now.
All right, first up, I just want to thank everyone who came out to a Boonie live show this summer, this fall, whenever it was. We had an amazing time in Baltimore. We had an amazing time in New York. And Raleigh was so different, but we had a great time there too. And why Raleigh was different, it was because the first time I had all ladies for a panel. and all ladies in the audience. The energy was crazy in Raleigh, and I really, really loved the safe space that was cultivated there. But each show brought something different. So I want to thank all of my guests, our problematic fave, Brian, Tashia, Mecca, Tahoe, Goody, and Ayana. They were amazing. They each brought their own different energy and flair to our space. I also want to thank those of you who watched the New York live stream. I was so happy to know that the show translated for those watching who weren't in the physical space. I rewatched the live show, and it was amazing to watch a live show, because half the time I don't remember a lot of stuff that happens because the energy, the adrenaline, and it just be gone. So it was great to do that. Thanks to those who did the live stream, who brought the replay. I want to thank our sponsors. We had Magic Wand, as always, One Condoms, Aunt Boozy Treats, Robbie's Happy Place, Foria Wellness, Dame Products. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. On Boozy's Treats, because they set it all the way out in Raleigh. Those folks had shrimp and grits, mac and cheese, chicken and waffles, drunken fruit. It was bomb. So again, thank you so much. I would love to see some of you guys' requests for where we go next year, but there are no more live shows this year. I don't compete with the holidays, and it's my birthday season, so nah. But 2023, we'll try to get, I know I've only done 3 at a time. Maybe we'll see if we could do 4 next year. I don't know. But this is time, money, energy, effort, all those things. But again, thank you guys for supporting. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Also at the live shows, we rolled out new merch. That's right. New merch rolled out. So we have a whole new Hold My Stay t-shirt series. I'm going to put them on some sweatshirts because I had that request. So that's 5 sayings in the Hold My Stay series. And it's a few other t-shirts that rolled out at the live show. And because if you did not get a chance to get them at the low price at the live show, they're all up on the website at theboonieBreakdown.com/shop. But I am going to launch a promo code for those of you who are listening to this episode. You can use the promo code 12. You spell it out, 12. And you will save 10% on your purchase. All right. That is good through November 5th. All right. So November 5th, 2022, use the code 12. All right. One last thing in this housekeeping thing is, if you're new here or you found us from someone else or your friend sent you this episode, I really want to encourage you to follow us on social media. We are on Twitter at Boonie Breakdown. We are on TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook at the Boonie Breakdown. Just be sure to do that. I appreciate it when you tag us. This is the first episode in a long time, so I'm going to have to drum up that interest again. So if you share this in your Insta story, you put it in your group chat, all that stuff. If you do share it in your Insta story, tag us. If your page is open, I'll reshare it. I love when you guys do that. It helps us grow. It helps us spread the word. And I appreciate you so much. But drop it in that group chat. Tell your friends, listen to this. This is what Brian said. Y'all agree? Do that shit. All right. And I appreciate you so much. All right. So that is it for me. Let's get ready to break it down. All right, y'all. So, of course, I had to start season 12 out with our problematic fave. Hey, Brian.
Hey, what's going on? What's up?
Good.
What's up, good people?
How you been? It's been a long time, friend. It's been months.
I know. I just wanted to say I took my punishment. I had some time to think while I was away. Boonie punished me. She had a live show without me. I don't know what I did. I haven't been able to record in a while, but I promise I'll do better. I felt like after the New York show, I got in trouble.
Okay, so let's talk. We did do the shows. We had Baltimore, we had New York, and Baltimore, you did what you do. New York was a different vibe because it's rare that I have you on stage with another guy, and that energy was different. Gotta admit.
I don't have nothing against him, but that's the thing where I can't be on that with other men. Like, it's just one of them situations. It's like, my facial expressions don't hide how I feel. So it was a lot of times where I didn't say anything, but after the show, you was like, "Yo, your face was like," and I can't even like it was so long ago. I had to go back and listen, but it was a couple times where I felt like, "Yo, really? Like really? Like come on, really? That's what you're doing?" Okay. Cool.
And it's funny because he was aware of it too. And we were talking via text. Tahoe was like, I hope he don't think I was beating up on him because I really think he's smart, but he's just raw. And the world doesn't like raw anymore. And
yeah, and that's why he got jammed up on Twitter. And so my whole thing with that is that I don't really care what the world likes. The one thing I love about this show is we're not doing it for no like special ratings. We're not doing it for no sponsors. I'd rather be raw because I'm always real. Like I always know that even when I say something that's ignorant, like it's how I feel, and I can explain it to almost get you to understand where I'm coming from. But this is what I do for a living. So like I will finesse the shit out of anything. I want like I can rationalize the fuck out of something. So when I say, "Oh, I don't believe in consent," I'm not saying like we out here raping people. But if I'm in the bedroom with my lady, no, I'm not asking her, "Can I kiss her there? Like, can I kiss you here?" Like, and he like, "Well, maybe you should try it. She'll like that. She'll get wet." Like, Nick, man, shut the fuck up.
So if you missed the New York show, and you were still on the fence, you can buy the replay because ain't shit free over here, but you can buy the replay. Just shoot me an email, DM me or whatever. But I thought the New York show was really good. I thought it was I'm gonna say this, it was one of my favorites in two regards because I really liked the venue, and that was one. I feel like of all the venues we've done, that might have been my favorite venue by far. And two, they had that motherfucking live stream looking professional as shit, okay? I really feel like the bar is way too high. So if I do a live stream again, it's like, shit, it can't be on no janky shit because that shit was like a fucking talk show for real. It was really good looking, So
what I will say is that I enjoyed the New York show. New York is just always a whole different vibe. I felt like the energy of the city definitely carried over.
And I feel like it was a girl in the back who wanted to cut your dick off.
Oh, to the bathroom. Like she was coming out the bathroom, I was coming in, and I was like, somebody had already told me, it was like, yo, they was like calling you all types of names. So you know me, like I'm an antagonize, I'm a, fuck with people. So I was like, hey, did y'all ladies enjoy the show? They was like, fuck you. I was like, oh, okay, like glad you enjoyed it, but that type of stuff don't bother me, and I want people to know like the Tahoe stuff don't bother me. It still was a great show. Like I mean, it was just one of those situations where like I'm like, all right, cool. He do this because that's what he do, and he doing it for like his audience or his ratings or whatever he say. But I mean, for me, like I said, I'm gonna be raw. So I'm glad he picked up on the fact like people don't like raw, whatever. Like I don't care what people think. That's why I'm the problematic fave.
That is why you're our problematic fave and why we love you here. Yeah. You know what? I got to give you some more credit, yo. And then I'm going to get off this credit train. No. I was talking about you earlier today because I was telling somebody how some shit you had said before in the episode. I was like, let me give this a try because Brian low-key know what he's talking about. So as I've been getting to know some people and talking to some gentlemen callers, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop saying that shit. Because Brian said, stop telling these niggas what you like, because that's what they use to play the role, get the pussy, and then they bounce out, right? That is some true ass shit. And I don't think women realize how much they do that. Like how much they say, oh, I like flowers. Oh, I like this. And I think it's ways you can still say that without saying it within the first 2 times of meeting someone. So they check those boxes and now you out here looking like Boo Boo the Fool. So I just wanted to give you your credit on that one too.
So I definitely think like it's a way to go about saying like what we like. Are we discussing things that we like to do, things we like? And I mean, some people are just taking notes to only use for like to their advantage. And like, that's why unfortunately, like we need to wait. Like, I mean, fellas, don't be mad at me. Like, the longer we wait, the longer we get a chance to show our true self, or if there's going to be consistency. So, like, if I do something for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like, is that really consistency? Like, I can say every day for 15 days. Like, that's not going to fucking kill me. But can I do 2 months without getting pussy? Can I take you out to eat? Can I buy you flowers? Can I do all the little things that I'm going to do consistently over the course of 3 to 6 months? And still at the same time, like, keep that same level of interest when you're saying, no, I just need to get to know you better. Like, that's like, and I mean, and that's if that's what you want. I mean, like I always say, some women, like, I want to fuck just like he want to fuck, or I want to find out what it is off the break. So don't be mad when you get that energy right back. But if you like, okay, I want something different, you got to do something different. And I mean, most guys, if they're not really interested, they going to fade. You know, it takes a like certain type of man that's like, oh, I'm going to do all of this shit, get everything at the 3 to 6 months and still be that nigga that skate off. But for the most part, like somebody who's spending money and time, like that shit will expose you. Like some people got money to burn, but a lot of people don't have money and time to burn.
That is a fair point, because I mean, everything comes down to time and money. And it's funny, I went on a date with a guy and I can tell he was just trying to fuck. And it was cool, right? And so
he probably heard the show, but go ahead.
He may, which I never tell guys when I first meet them about that, because I don't want them to go listen and make preconceived notions about who I am. But maybe he did. I don't know. We never discussed it. But he pretty much, I could tell he was getting annoyed, and like his energy was annoying me. And I was like, what's on your mind? And he was like, well, I just want to ask you, like, are you one of them girls that make niggas wait 90 days? And I was like, no, I'm not. And he was like, okay, well, I was just trying to see like how we can move this connection that, you know, further, whatever the fuck he said. And I was like, well, homeboy, it really comes down to time and money. I was like, either you're going to spend money or you're going to invest time. And it's one or the other. And I was like, at this point, you've not invested enough time or spent enough money for me to want to fuck you.
Right. But even at that, like, it still come down to like, even after time and money, it still come down to a feeling, right? So it's like, still got to be a connection there. Like, you can go out with somebody for a whole year, they can spend money, time, and you be like, yeah, it's still not moving me. Like,
yeah.
Like I done been around like what some people might consider to be like, she a bad bitch or this, that. And it's like at a couple times of chilling with her coming up, like, if like I'm out with you for so many times and like I don't feel nothing, like it just started to make me feel like I'm forcing it. Like I don't want to force nothing. And then when I'm like locked in and like we together or we dealing with each other, like my dick hard the whole time I'm around you. Like we in line at the movies, I'm putting my dick on your butt just to be smart. Like you feel like time you turn around, like I'm patting your hand on, like you feel that. Like I'm just you like that connection is there. But like if you don't have that connection, like that should just be like it'd be pointless because you know this shit gonna be wet. It's very rare that like you don't have
that is very rare.
You have sex and it's like, oh shit, like we finally connected. Like you gotta connect during a kiss or like some type of laughter or something. Like, damn.
I knew it. I remember this one time I was trying to make it work with this nigga because I knew he had a little coin. And when we kissed, I felt not like, normally you get the little butterfly in your pussy, you do whatever. Nothing was moved. But yeah, I still went.
That's the same thing for us. Like, if we start kissing and my dick don't get chubby, like, then, like, we definitely not going to be nothing. Like, right in that moment, like, that's too much for me not to get chubby. Now, I know I'm going to get hard, but if I don't even get chubby, like, oh, we done. Like, it's going to be.
Like, but I still went against my better judgment and fuck. And I was like, see, I knew from the kiss this shit was going to be wet.
The kiss does it all. Like, I'm telling you, like, the way it's the same thing. We like if you know the kissing are working like it is.
Yeah, no. So okay, that's like an equation. It's time, money, and attraction. Time, money, and attraction.
It is. And I mean, I think that's real, and you want to sacrifice that. Like, if you are sacrificing one of those things, like the other stuff got to be like far superseding. Like, you can, um, you just, you can, like, one thing's got to be like way far better than the other one. You know what I mean? So, like, if you on a pie chart, like everything is equal time, money, but then it's like they don't have no money. They spending a whole lot of time, and that's a whole lot of. They don't have a whole lot of time, but they spending a whole lot of money, and there's a heavy attraction.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. So I'm going to say this to you too. You and I know your friends. I'm saying this like not knowing your friends. But if I had asked you and I didn't know your friends and I was like, Brian, hook me up with one of your homeboys, what would your answer to that be?
Nah.
Okay. So
I don't like so my thing is, this is my problem with hooking people up. So if I hook you up with one of my homeboys, I now become the person in the middle. And you're my friend and they're my friend. Mm-hmm. So one, I don't feel comfortable trying to police what the fuck they do around me because that's my homeboy. And being like, yo, don't cheat on my girl. Don't do it like that. And then at the same time, like vice versa, you know, you doing something and I'm looking at you like, yo, you doing my man wrong. Or y'all getting into arguments and shit. And now I'm in the fucking middle. Like,
okay.
And now my fucking housewarming or cookout, both of y'all gonna come, but y'all on some Issa and whatever the nigga name shit was, because they had the same friends and they all like still get there stunting on each other. Like, that should just be messy.
Okay, that's fair. So where would you tell your advice to single women to meet men? Where do they meet men? Because I don't want to do dating apps. A lot of people don't want to do dating apps no more.
I mean,
nobody's referring nobody. Well, here's the thing. I feel like people refer men, but they don't refer women to hook up. And these events, it'd be the same old tired ass people.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, really, when you look at the number of men, you know, like how many are single?
Very few.
Right. And so the definition of single has to be reevaluated, because niggas be like, I'm single because I'm not married. Now, like, who living with somebody who in a relationship, but they say they single, but they still fucking their baby mama, like shit like that. So I don't know too many men who's like single. So like if my buddy is actually single, he just got a bunch of hoes.
I just want you to stop right here, because this is the point I was trying to make on another podcast. Men are not single. They're not single in the same capacity that women are single.
Right. So if you single and you ain't got no hoes, like, now I'm questioning if you even a good match for my homegirl anyway. Because if you ain't got no hoes in this 2022, where they giving that shit away, like, you gotta still have some hoes. Like, I never had a time when I just like didn't have nothing. I mean, I pride myself on being able to always to go back in the bucket. Like,
so that's the thing. Like, I could go back in the bucket, but
everybody can. I just think a man is usually single because nobody either stepped up to like prove themselves that that's what he want, and he can still go out there and be like, I'm gonna start cutting these off. But most of the time, it might just be a situation where he's scared to be in a relationship, or I'm not getting married again. I ain't doing that shit. So they just stay single and just fuck with a bunch of hoes because it's easy. Like, being in a relationship and being like doing the right thing is hard. Like, it's easy to just fuck hoes and not have no responsibility and not having to take nobody out, not have to think of date nights, keep shit fresh, be consistent. That's the most easiest shit to do, because you don't have to do anything consistently but go fuck these hoes. Like, real talk. Like, this shit is very simple. But when you decide, like, I'm going to commit to this situation and I'm not going to take the easy route and fuck these bitches in my DM, or fuck bitches that I know that I could still fuck, who not going to call me, who only want me to just come through with that hammer, you know, and that's it. And then you still got to be consistent and communicate and you gotta like open yourself up to like when things ain't perfect. Because in that first 6 months, the shit be just fucking perfect. But then you gotta keep that same energy, like that same energy that got her, like, yo, let's go make candles, let's go sip and paint. Oh, you know what you're doing? Let's go to our favorite restaurant. Hey, put a dress on. I felt like we needed that energy. Like a lot of guys get to the point where they just like get comfortable because that shit is hard to do. It's hard to keep that level of consistency. A lot of shit is easy to get, it's hard to maintain.
Interesting. Because that's the thing. I just feel like I know, to your point, I know maybe 3 single men out of all the men I know, but I know 23 single women.
Yeah, and the women don't be all the way single neither. Let's not let women off.
Oh, no. I feel like women are more single than men.
Some of y'all be having y'all little hoes too. That y'all
Yeah,
still.
here's the thing. I am single. Single. I have technically no one on the bench, right? Yes, there are people I can call to fuck.
Right. I just, when I meet people, I just always, like when I was single, I always led with this whole thing, like, you know, like, is anybody really single? Like, I will always start with that, right? And I'd be like, because the women must say, like, oh, you deal with somebody, you got a girl. No, I have a girl. You know, I'm single, but, you know, I hang out, I got friends. Because I always wanted to be like in the beginning, like I told you, I had people. So women will think that because we talk every day for 2 weeks and then we fuck and we went out twice and had a good time, now they gone. Like, no, bitch, they still there.
So you think
for 2 weeks, I gotta go get him sometime.
So women get possessive.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Also like the challenge of taking a nigga from another bitch. That's why women like fucking with men who got girls. I don't know what it is, but
I went live impromptu today and some man in there said this, like, well, it's the other problem is that men are probably single, but women like men who are already attached to somebody.
Yeah. There's something attractive about a man who has already committed to another woman, who either posts his woman, you know, show that he's a good father, a good family man. It's something attractive about that to y'all where it's like, you post your wife and your kids and the motherfucker like, damn, you look good. Like, damn, like, bitch, you ain't just see me with my family?
I feel like that is just maybe a certain type of woman because that'll never move me.
Well, there's a lot of women who like fucking people who married or in relationships.
Yeah, that don't move me. I don't like sharing dick.
A lot of women out here. Do a poll on your page.
Tuesday, yes.
Have you ever fucked with a nigga who you openly knew was in a relationship? Like you knew for sure this man was either had a girlfriend, wife, fiance. And
okay.
that shit gonna be like 80%. Like, but you fucked a nigga that was in a relationship.
Me?
Yeah, you, motherfucker. Who else I'm talking to? Patriot?
I was like, me? I'm trying to run my whole facts in my head.
Just think of a time when you knew somebody had a girl or whatever, and you still was like, fuck it. I remember a time you fucked somebody who had a girl.
Oh, my.
It was one of your little friends who came over to the house.
You don't got to say it on here. You said what?
You said it on one of the episodes.
Well, maybe I did. Shit, I just don't remember. But you might be right. I'll concede. But
the whole point is, like, I mean, and a lot of women are past that. They say they past that now, but
shit, I know you're talking about.
Like, for a lot of men that I know, like, I think the hardest thing for them is trying to be faithful in a sense that, like, women just don't give a fuck. And they go extra hard, like, for these men who I know are already taken. I mean, shit, I lived that life at some point too. So it's like, you know, you're like, yeah, I got a girl, and the DMs keep rolling. Like, they just act like they skipped over that part. Like, next thing you know, it's like, oh,
maybe the message did not go through.
Nah, the message like it's almost like a measuring stick too when they see your girl. So it's like almost this thing too where some women see that your girl look good, and then it's like a self-esteem thing for them to like almost compare themselves to what you got. Like some niggas only fuck with girls because of another nigga had fucked with her before. Like the bitch really not that bad, but because
That is her whole facts. It
is like her last nigga had a couple dollars. He was somebody in the city. Now niggas think she's hot shit, but the bitch really all right. She just all right. Like she ain't that. But oh yeah, that's such and such old girl. I don't give a fuck who the nigga she was fucking. She okay. You made like she better because she used to mess with Jamie Foxx or Rick Ross. That's the girl Rick Ross was dealing. Like that don't make her better.
I'm nodding. I'm agreeing.
Because I mean, I definitely feel like some dudes like will fuck a girl after you just to be like they fuck somebody who you fucked with.
Now I feel like I've had that happen. One of my days working at a very high school like environment here in Baltimore. I will never go there again. My name got in the streets.
SSA.
Yeah. And that is one thing I tried to pride myself on. My name is not in these motherfucking streets. And the person who was saying that they fucked me, I was really taken aback. Like, how dare this nigga say he fucked me? Nah.
But you know what? That was one of my top 5 thought jobs. So that definitely reeks of thoughtness. And there's a lot of that going on in that environment.
So when you're single and you're on the market, where do you meet women? Out and about, or is it referrals?
So I'd rather meet women in person rather than social media. So it's like you get the social media people and you go through all their pictures and stuff like that, and then you eventually like meet up with them and kind of see them. Like I might flirt a little on social media, but I don't want to flirt too hard till I see like everything about you in person. Because it's like you'd be so disappointed when you meet people after you really like get past that one fire profile pic. So for me, I'd rather like if I was single tomorrow, I would do what I said on my post the other day. I would go strictly to Giant, Owens Mills, Home Goods, Home Sense, at home. I would do shit like walk down the aisle and be like, oh, excuse me, like, hey, like I just put white shutters in my downstairs and I'm looking for some art. Do you think like this would just be too crazy to put there? And they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, I probably should show you the space, like not in a picture on my phone, but maybe like invite you over for dinner or something one day. Like I silly shit or something, and they'd be like, and keep walking. But if I don't see no ring, I'm gonna go get her. But I think those places, like that's the new club. Like church, shit like that. Like I don't want no bitches out the club at this point. Like I don't want no girl who on the scene, because that's the thing. Like as much as people might say, "Oh, Brian, he a thigh, he hot, he just," people can't name 3 people that I fucked, because I don't fuck no chicks who'll be all over the internet, all in their pictures, turning around, and every loud, doing a whole bunch of mess. So it's like, if you don't know me and know the people that I dealt with, like my name not in the streets. People say stuff about me because they know me and they know my face, but they don't really know me. Like people can't name 3 people that I've been with, and you know me. So it's like, you can't name 3 people I've been with outside of the people I had public relationships with. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be like, oh, he was fucking all these sorors and this and that. Your line sister's like, oh, I fucked Brian.
I would never say that.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's this impression, like, I'm like a thought or a hoe. Like, I was married for a long time, like 3 or 5 years.
Not a long time.
Oh, no.
But that's a long time when your name is off the streets. Yes.
Yes. You count the years you were dating and doing stuff like that, like around the same time, like,
That's a long time now. So, yeah. Okay. So you're saying that I had tried to say that when I do be going to the Home Depot and the Lowe's, a little nigga was trying to help me pick out a trash can and some shit. So I try to go in there with some yoga pants on, some tight leggings or some shit. It's always niggas in the Home Depot and the Lowe's.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like at this point in life, you just want to meet people just out doing regular shit. Like you don't want to be people out looking to be
drunk.
Yeah, no, I just want to meet people there. And I be in my house because I pay a lot of money for it, and I've paid a lot of money for the things in it, so I enjoy it. But I know these motherfuckers not gonna come up to my house, so I do gotta go out. 90% of the men in my DMs I would never fuck unless it was desperate times.
See, I used to say sit at the bar and stuff like that, but I feel like some guys have mastered the art of hanging around the bar looking for single women.
Yo, when we were out in Raleigh last weekend, we were watching this man put the moves on this bitch at the bar, and you could tell he do it. And when I laughed, we were laughing about it because I was like, yo, he got declined. She did not go for it, but he was going hard on it, buying drinks for her and her friend, touching her every time he said something. And then they laughed. So he went upstairs, and I was like, yo, he gonna be big down here in 30 minutes at this fucking hotel bar, putting the moves on somebody else because somebody's going upstairs to that room tonight.
Yeah. And people literally like, that's that thing, like, oh, I'm gonna go to Roof Chris, or I'm gonna go to such and such and sit at the bar. And that's where they just like, oh, at the bar, I'm gonna meet somebody. So
you'll meet somebody.
Yeah. So it's like, do you want to meet somebody who's like out on the prowl? Just like you trying to get met, but you don't want to meet somebody on the prowl. Like, you know what I mean? Like y'all both got the same idea, but you're looking for something that's a little bit more like intellect, whatever. Like I could be somewhere where you just run into people. I just feel like you just got to be out and be seen. Just be out and be seen. And give a smile.
I'm try to be out and seen. I'll be smiling when I'm out. And that's the thing. I'm a very outgoing personality. So I do engage with people when I'm out. I'll talk to strangers.
But you could like, hi. Like I get women, like I'm walking down the aisle or I'm in the market and I get women might say hi, speak, wave. I don't think they want me. But at the same time, I think they just giving off good energy just because you made eye contact. Like they might be with their family or something, but it's just like, okay, like that's fine. But still, like if a man going to even try to talk to you, he don't want to feel like he about to come and get rejected because you all frowned up and you already not giving off any signals. So like some of y'all missing your blessing because your face be too screwed up. Or like I said before, some women be too dressed up when they trying to be.
You've always said this to me.
No, because dudes be feeling like.
And not me. I'm not a dressy bitch, but I know.
Somebody said the other day, like 30-year-old men, and it was like the guy looked at the girl and it was like $100 earrings, $800 something, $800 bag. And he was like, no, and just kept walking down the aisle. But it was just like, sometimes men look at women and just be like, so like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like, it looked like.
Is that why the men pick you up when you look the bummiest?
Yo, we like that shit though.
I was in the liquor store, right?
Like that shit because it's real, it's raw. Like, we don't like when y'all all made up and all this extra stuff. Like, you cool as shit when you in that. Like, you also carrying the different when you in that.
You're right, because when it's all beat snap, I'm cute, right? But I'm literally in the liquor store. I had on sunglasses, a mask. My hair is up in the things because I still had my hair was out. I had the rollers in. This nigga couldn't see nothing on my face. Literally nothing. And he's like, oh, miss, let me get the door for you. And I'm like, okay, thank you, sir. Then he carrying the bottles to the counter for me. Then he ain't offered to pay, but he opened the door. He put them in the car and he's like, oh, can I get your number? So I wasn't attracted to him, but I still gave my number. Like, fuck it. Like, I don't got nothing to lose. So I gave him my number. But when I got back in the car and I looked at myself, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like sometimes like we sitting back and we looking at the friend group and the one friend that's like overly accessorized and all dressed up and looking expensive as shit. Like, yeah, I'm gonna let her pass. I'm gonna go for the one that's just seem a little bit more down to earth. Like,
I mean, it's fair enough. So here's the thing.
Like a headache.
I said that I was going to try to create some little get-togethers where there may be single people. I want to try to have a singles event. I don't know what the fuck that looks like. But one thing
you can do it with platform. I think you can do it.
I think I'm gonna try to pull one off. But
men never show up.
That's the problem. Men don't show up. So I'm thinking I may have to make the women bring men, like bring somebody you're not interested in kind of situation. Because I don't know how to get men there because men don't come. And another man had told me like 2 reasons why he did not like going to those types of singles events. The first one being our earlier point, all men are not single, because he's like, I'm gonna run into somebody I know. And then 2, he was like, women get very possessive, whereas men are going to these singles events like, oh, let me connect with as many people I can vibe with and follow up later. Women are like, I'm going to find a nigga, not I'm going to find a couple of niggas I vibe with and we'll figure the rest out later and let it weed out. And I was like, that is an interesting, very fair point that I don't think women probably know that they're doing that behavior. And we'll figure that out. The other thing I said I was going to do, remember those little, I don't even know if they do these fucking things anymore. Remember them ski weekends? You on that pink flyer, you take the bus up to the Poconos.
And everybody come downstairs in lingerie. I threw one, we didn't have it, but I'd never been to one. And I always like, we had this whole like weekend plan. There's going to be like a lingerie party. And I'm like, oh shit, this shit going to be on the hook. Like I got to get a room by myself. But yeah, that was back when we was throwing parties. It was cool, but we didn't get enough people to sign up in time.
That's the thing, stuff like that. You never get enough people. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring back the pink ski trip flyer.
I know where that's going to go. Like you could do a live show like at the event or something.
Yeah, so we'll see. I say all these grand ideas and we're going to figure it out.
But that's the thing. Like, we don't want to show up to the singles event and then they're like, girl, guess who was there? Like, yeah, nigga you talk to. Like, he was there.
That's why men don't go.
And so my thing, too, is if I go out, right? Like, when I would go out and I would meet somebody, I had this thing where, like, my quota was filled, like, once I got that first number. And then, like, I got lost. Like, I didn't want to see you again after I got your number. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was. Like, I booked you, and I don't want to, like, run into you and have awkward conversation with you again. I'd rather just wait until I talk to you again. But I also don't want to be, like, over in the corner dancing with somebody else and you watching me. Now it's, like, that much harder for me to, like, connect with you. Because you, like, damn, you was all over the club afterwards. Like, as soon as I get that number, I'm like, pew! Like, I'm going... Like, I'm going to wait anyway, like, till a little later to watch you a little bit before I get the number. But at the same time, like, I just want to see how you move or, like, see if you notice me, whatever. But in that moment, like, once I got that number, my quota was met. Like, back when I was younger, you go out and you'll meet 3-4 people. And the next morning, you drank so much, you don't even know who's who. So it was
pointless.
So now
that was me one New Year's Eve. Gave out my number mad times. These fools are texting me. I'm like, I don't even know this nigga name, what he look like.
So it's better to get one, have a good 5-minute conversation with her. Y'all vibing, y'all tripping, and then boom, be gone. Like, all right, well, I'm about to get out of here, and I'll holler at you, whatever. But you don't want to be like hanging around in the club with that person because, like you said, women are possessive, and they'll be sitting there watching your ass all night.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. So we're going to see. I'm going to try to cultivate something. We'll see. If it flop, it flop. I'm not trying that shit again. But I hear y'all humble cries, and we're going to try to make it work out. We're going to change gears before we wrap up. Y'all already know before Brian comes on, in between his appearances, he just sends me topics like, yo, we got to talk about this. And so now I'm trying to figure out where his brain was going on this one because he was like, we got to talk about prenups.
That was going on, but not so much now. Like, it was like at the time, it was this whole big thing about like prenups. And I was just like, my question was, are regular people like us getting prenups?
I would advise you to as well.
But I mean,
because here's the thing.
So for me, I don't believe in prenups.
Why?
Because I never go into a relationship without feeling like I'm willing to be like, this is mine, this is yours. Like, once that moment where I'm like, I want to marry you, I want to give you everything that I have. You give me everything that you have. Like, we open access up to each other. I feel like it's too many people trying to separate themselves and their things And that's the reason why it don't work, because you so busy trying to fix your fucking face. you, you so busy like trying to hold on to your little bit of shit you got, and I'm holding on to my little shit. Like, in the grand scheme of things, we ain't got shit. So it's like,
I'm gonna beg to differ, sir. You have like 3 different fucking businesses.
Yeah, but if we got married tomorrow, the state of Maryland already says that the house that I already owned before I married you is still mine. If I don't turn around and put you on my deed for this property, you don't have no rights to it. Same thing with your house. At the end of the day, nobody's gonna be able to take that and be like, "Oh, this is mine. That's whatever." But yeah, like, I got businesses, but I also don't look at it like my woman or anybody is being with me because of my businesses or the money that I make. Like, if it's truly,
I love that you're so like optimistic like that. I'm getting a fucking prenup.
Nobody wants to be with a dude who's a bump. So I think it's an advantage, and you end up with a better woman because you do work hard, or you got like a certain type of caliber woman or whatever. But she also should be bringing her shit to the table. And like, if I'm bringing what I make to the table and you bringing what you make to the table, and we off by like 30, 40 grand or 50 grand, like, really, is that a big difference?
Maybe. When you hate my fucking guts, yeah, it may be a big difference.
At the end of the day, like, it's not a business arrangement for me. Like, some people like, oh,
That's amazing.
I'm a like,
look at you being a true romantic.
I am. I'm a hopeless romantic. And I feel like my parents, 50 years, and it's a completely different era, but I still feel like, yo, that real shit ain't got nothing to do with no money. It ain't got nothing to do with no status. Like, my mother never had a job. When she did have a job, they was like bullshit jobs just to be able to buy me like Hilfiger and Polo and shit like that. But it was more so like, she just held shit down. Like, she was just like the eyes and the brains of the house. Like, my mother got like a high school education, but she's smart as shit. Like, on some common sense type shit, right? Whereas a lot of these women be having a whole bunch of fucking degrees and no common sense. Like,
that's true.
Like,
but I just feel like
fight their way out of a fucking parking lot to figure out like how to get away from some shit. Be walking right into like letting dumb niggas hit them with dumb shit on the internet, sending them a picture. Oh yes, he wanted my profile. Like, why you get that nigga your number? Like, oh, because like, you so smart, but you dumb. Like, it's a lot of smart dummies.
So I think that's great. It's amazing you have that amazing example of your parents. I do not. And
so what is it that you're trying to protect so much that like you feel like you would need a prenup?
So for me, it really is the safety net, right? Like, I know I have trust issues. It's still being worked out in therapy, but it's like, I am my fallback plan, right? And so if some shit went wrong for women, usually I'm never gonna be the woman who like, I don't want to commingle my money when I'm married. I don't want you to be in charge of the finances. Like, we could do this shit together, because I just never want to be asked out. So if any moment you like, you know what, fuck you, Boonie, I want a divorce, or I'm like, fuck you, nigga, I want a divorce, it's just clean and easy. I don't want us to have to think about it. So, all right, you keep your retirement, you keep all your shit, I keep all my shit. What we got together, we split. Let's say that when it's good. So when you hate me, we not fighting over no petty shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I ain't had shit to give my ex-wife when I divorced. So I was just like, take this child support. Just hold my house.
But that's all I'm looking at.
House, but that house had nothing to do with her anyway. Her house was in her name. It had nothing to do with me.
And I look at like somebody I know who got divorced. They had
assets, anything. Like, you got to be together long enough and accustomed to a certain lifestyle to be able to get alimony. And that lifestyle can't be like, we split the bills, or he paid the mortgage and I paid all of the bitch bills. Like, to get alimony and shit like that, you really got to
have to be like, I wasn't working and he covered. Yeah.
Like, yeah, but if you got just as much shit as I got, like,
yeah,
we want to sit down and be like, all right, yo, let's do this. But if you like, I want to keep the house, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna leave. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, all right, well, take my fucking equity out. Like, refi that bitch. Give me my 80,000.
And that's what you could say in your prenup.
I don't know. I just feel like it's a bad omen to
So
all.
I get, because you're so the
It's like,
love side of marriage, that you're like, you're already dooming it, and why are we talking about this? I get it.
I hate the what if it don't work thing. Like, what if it don't work? Like, you already just like giving up, just saying like, what if it don't work? What if it doesn't? What if we soar? What if we fly?
And we can continue to do that. And then this document is just like the little marriage license, a piece of paper.
They was talking about somebody who didn't get a prenup, and it was like made me think of it. And I was just like, I don't know, man. Like,
so I get how it can draw the uncertainty around the relationship, right? Like, damn, bitch, you already thinking about the end, but it's not really that. It's just, I'm really just protecting myself. I think it would just make me feel very secure. And when I feel secure, I'm a better woman. For you, daddy. I'm a better woman for you, daddy. That's how I'm gonna say it when I position it. Because I probably would be the one who bring it up. Like, I just could never be asked out. And that's where it comes. I can't ever be financially insecure. Like, I just can't allow myself to do that. And what if, like, I feel like people be conning motherfuckers nowadays, like, and I also blame women for not doing their own due diligence on the motherfucker. But like, the stories I'm hearing of women who have gotten played or conned by men, baby girl.
That's because y'all don't be having a common sense neither. Some shit be. No, I be hearing stories and it'd be like, yeah, you know, we seen each other like once a week. Like, how you in a relationship and like y'all don't see each other? Like, how did y'all just like get married off of never being around each other's families? Like, how did y'all get married off of like never really like knowing what a person did for a living? Like, people be crazy. Like, some shit just don't make sense. Like, common sense, like shit start to add up. Like, you knew this motherfucker ain't take care of his kid that he told you about when y'all met. You never.
How about that? Bingo.
And then all of a sudden, like, you like, he don't take care of our kids. Like, oh, duh. You know, but it just be so much shit where, I don't know, like, I'm different. If I trust you, I probably let you handle the money. I'd be like, yo, let's open up a joint account or whatever, and I'm gonna put like the mortgage and the rest of the money in there and shit like that, because it's like, I don't want to deal with it. Like, handle that.
I could support that.
Handle that shit, babe. But at the end of the day, like, that's already because I know you handle your shit. I already seen that 750 score. I already know. I had to do too. That like was real when I was in marriage counseling. They had to bring out a credit report to marriage counseling and like talk about it. And when you are decline, my daughter's FaceTiming me. When you are in that position where you like bring your credit report, the person look at, you know, the things, you know, the things that you have along with what you have, negative or positive, like that opens up a whole nother conversation.
That's a level of vulnerability that, woo.
I mean, that's what it comes with though. But that's why I'm saying, like, when you put all of that stuff out there and you really get to like unmask people for who they are, at some point we got to discuss like what you bringing home, what you making, what you got going on. I mean, that's real. Like, if we gonna go buy a house together and like, I don't believe in, I would never, like, I just bought a house. I would never want to like this be my house for my relationship, because this house is already being set up the way that I want it.
You know, it's funny. In this new space that I'm in, I have been making design choices, not for men, but like thinking like, well, what if I got with somebody and we lived here briefly together? Like, is the house going to be too girly? And I'm not a girly girl anyway, so it would never. But like, I was thinking about like that. Like, is this space inviting enough for a man to live here temporarily? I'm with you too, because this is my house. It would never be our house.
Stay your house too. Like I said, as long as that it stay your house too, unless you decide to put him on the deed. But I feel
never.
Something about going into a space together new.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Let's pick it out.
Let's go pick this space out. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like I'm like, you could decorate the whole fucking house. All I want is the basement and outdoor patio. Like, just give me my basement, give me the outdoor patio. Like, I'll carve you out a little space in the basement for when you want to come down here with me. But most of this shit gonna be jerseys, alcohol, paddles, all types of like cute boots, dogs everywhere. Like, you can be like, oh, this shit is definitely a man cave. But the rest of the house could be rosy fucking pink. I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever. But I just feel like that's a space where people mess up too. So like somebody is like, okay, he's moving in with me, she's moving in with me, and now y'all like awkward because the person never feel at home. Like you still treating it like it's your house.
It's my house. Yeah. That's going to be because I'm about to do, I don't even know if I've ever said this on here, but I've never lived with a man. And I'm going to be 38. That is going to be a hard adjustment for me. I already know it. When niggas be here for 5 days, I'll be like, this motherfucker, if he leave them shoes there one more time.
5 days? Why nigga there for 5 days?
I mean, because you want to post up and fuck. Like,
damn, fuck that. That's like, see, I never wanted to do that when I was single. Like, I don't want to stay the night and be over there all day because it's giving relationship.
It's giving this pussy is good. That's what it's giving.
Yeah, and it's like giving like I want to get the fuck out of here while it's still good before I get tired of it. After 5 days, I'm like, it's been
no, that's literally the longest I've ever like been in the same space with someone that I've been dating or fucking. It's 5 days.
But yeah, I mean, that's key though. Like for those people who are out there and they trying to make something work, like get your own space with the person. Talk about finances, talk about like, show your credit report, talk about credit scores. Because when you find out down the road that all these dates he's been taking you on is on a credit card and like every trip y'all done went on.
Y'all gonna be eating pork and beans.
Yeah. It's important to even be able to help that person with their finances and understand like, hey,
yes.
like.
But you can kind of see some of that stuff the way people move because this one guy, my ex-boyfriend, I knew he was really good with money and I could see it. And I was at that time real fucked up with money. And so it inspired me because I knew at that time, I thought we were headed towards that conversation of, oh shit, he gonna ask me. And when I show him this shit, he is not gonna want to marry me. Like, I know this nigga credit score is like 840. He got so it made me get my shit together because I didn't want to be the financial slacker.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very important that like you deal with somebody who make you better, but also understand like where you weak at. And it'd be too many people out here trying to keep up. And it's like when you out here trying to keep up and you're doing too much, like you put yourself in a hole. And I mean, yeah, it can be crazy. So it's like I don't never want to be in a position where like I'm not moving right or doing something. Like I'm quick to say, yeah, I just bought this house, I don't have it. Like, oh yeah, like I'm getting some stuff done for the house, like I don't have it. And I love the fact that like they'd be like, okay, like not no whole like we need to go do. Nah, like when you got that person and you already see she can't be comfortable sitting in the fucking house, run. I'm telling you, like for real, niggas be happy to have a chick who want to just sit around the fucking house because they got a new house with a nice TV and a throw blanket. We could just sit and chill or
you
come in
Netflix and chill.
Yeah, and then the thing is, y'all be dealing with niggas who y'all ain't even never been to their house. Like,
ooh, don't be putting the dagger in and twisting it.
Ding, 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 ding. Like he's by himself.
That was my running joke for it because I told this nigga one time, we are done. If I do not go to your house in the next week, like it's over. Like, do you have a wife? Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. He's at that motherfucking house because I was like, I'm not talking to you no more.
Yeah,
I think that's a red flag if you've never been to a nigga house.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like people are like trying to hide something from you when they don't want you in that space. So like when somebody in that space, it's like a rites of passage. It's like honorable that like I share my space.
No, like, it is. It's a big deal. If you've been to my house in any capacity, I fuck with you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I know that I wouldn't give them my address.
There's certain points of the relationship and things that, that's why I think it's important for a lot of dudes not even to be bringing chicks to your house that you ain't fucking with like that. Like, you can't bring every chick home that you fucking to your house. You might have to get a hotel some nights because you just don't really want that chick up in your space like that.
No.
When I lived downtown, and I mean, granted, I was 24, 25, chicks really was thinking like, oh yeah, like I could see me up in here. Like, it was a
nice house.
Right. And it was like at 24, 25, most people wasn't living like that. So it was one of those things where like a lot of women are not even like living like that with their parents. Like, people still living at home with their mom. So it's like when certain people see how you live and they start thinking in their head, like the stuff you're talking about where prenup is relevant, like, oh, he got money, he come from money or some shit like that. They thinking in their mind, like they trying to add up like what you do for a living, all that. And all that is like running through their mind, and they decide if they're gonna fuck you or not based off of that. How early they gonna fuck you? If you ain't got shit going, they be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck this nigga." You got some shit going, they be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take my time with this nigga." I experienced.
I may or may not have been that girl, but it's true. But I got burnt on that. Got burnt one time, so
You got burnt.
Not like that, nigga.
You gotta clear that up. You can't.
I mean, like with using that logic that you just presented,
right? But don't be like, I got burnt one time, and then people be like,
I have a clean bill of health. I'm just anemic as fuck. All right. Well, we definitely did not go ratchet, but I think I really enjoyed talking to you this time, Brian.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, that was it. That was good.
That was it. Any parting words, friend?
Parting words. It's okay to be smart in this whole getting scene and have your degrees and all of that. But please, certain things pop out as red flags. Go to places where you can just be comfortable, be casual. You don't have to be dressed up. You don't have to be made up. You don't have to have your lashes on and, fresh out the hair salon. Just be regular. Guys like regular, and you can get dressed up when it's date time and stuff like that too. But we like when y'all just chill. Like we like that regular, approachable shit. And if you've been with somebody long enough and you're thinking you're moving to the next level, don't wait until they pop the question and be like, "Hey, like let's talk about finances." Like, because some of y'all talking about, yeah, I want a prenup too, and y'all ain't got shit. Like. So don't be like you want a prenup and you ain't got shit. But at the end of the day, still, that's very important.
Get your prenup.
It's very important to discuss finances and also take my advice. I don't care if it's an apartment or whatever. If you and that person like sharing that space, like create your own space together. And you'll also learn a lot more about the person when they get to like create that same space with you. Lastly, fellas, never moving with. That's it. Never moving with. Fucking it all up right there by moving in with her. She will tell you quick, get the fuck out my house.
That's gonna be me. Like, that's gonna be the struggle I'm gonna have with cohabitation. Is like, this my shit, nigga. Get the fuck
right. Can't never do that as a man. Never.
Well, thank you, friend.
All right.
Bye. All right, that was it for our season 12 opener. I want to thank the homie, the friend, our problematic fave, Brian, for another great episode. I want to also remind you all to be sure to support our sponsor, Dame Products, and use the code Boonie10 to save 10% on your purchase. All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or any apps that you listen to your favorites on. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. You might just hear your review on a future episode. Follow us on all social media. Share the episode with those you love, those you don't love, those you fucking hate. I don't make these pretty images for nothing. Okay, have a dope ass week. Stay healthy, safe, and sane. Thank you for listening. And remember, the ratchet in me always honors the ratchet in you. Namaste. Until next time.